Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick intro to some of the things you're going to see at what happened at FreezeFest. We had some amazing guests. We had Dr. Thomas Seeger there, who's the CEO of Morozko Forge. We also had world record holder Dean Hall, who has an amazing story about how literally cryotherapy and cold water exposure changed his whole life. So go ahead and watch the video and hear some awesome things.
Electromagnetic field therapy, chiropractic work, and superficial scar tissue therapy for better range of motion and function. We've had awesome support from the community with some grab bags that we have here, that we've had 25 plus local businesses be able to sponsor some things, put in gift cards from all over. So definitely make sure you get one of those. We did have some waivers for everybody, just as a precaution. If everything you do, cut your foot or whatever, just saying like, yep, I understand the risk. So if everyone who's participating today, if you could just sign the waiver. And then we also put a spot on the bottom if you wanted us to contact you in regards to any of the services and stuff. There's something to fill out for like an email or a phone number if you wanted us to get in touch with you. But anyway, welcome to the event. Let me introduce you to a good friend of mine. This is Dr. Thomas Seeger. He is the CEO of Morozko Forge. That is the brand of the cryo tank that we have in our office. He's an amazing human, and he's coming up here to support us to be able to do our event. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce him, take a few minutes, and then we also have another special guest.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for bringing us up. It's wonderful to be here. I wore my t-shirt, and I wanted to explain kind of what we're doing at Morozko Forge. Morozko is the winter warlock, kind of the Jack Frost character in Russian folktales. So we named our company after this metaphor, the idea that when you voluntarily put yourself out of comfort, you experience discomfort, it can make you stronger. So we used the symbol of the hydra. This is the Greek mythological beast that Hercules had to figure out how to slay. The hydra emerged from the cold waters of the swamp. It's a multi-headed creature, and of course every time you cut one head off, two would grow back. That was Hercules' problem. So we love the metaphor of the cold water and the anti-fragility. There are a lot of things that happen when you get in the water. You begin to burn the glucose in your bloodstream. You activate your brown fat. You recruit new brown fat cells. You stabilize your metabolism. Dean is a wonderful example of this. Amanda, who came up with me, is another wonderful example of this. Amanda used to suffer from type 2 diabetes. She's changed her diet. She's done cold exposure, and the type 2 diabetes is in remission. So all of these medical benefits, in which I'm a doctor of philosophy, not medicine. I'm not a doctor of chiropractic. Bryan is much more qualified. But the metabolic benefits are real, and all you have to do is make yourself cold to experience them. The logo, the metaphor, is about the mental benefits, the psychological benefits. When you emerge from the water, maybe you did 2 minutes, maybe you did 3 minutes, maybe you did 25 seconds, you will know that you have accomplished something. You have slayed some demon in your own psyche. You have put yourself into a position where everything in your body is saying you're gonna die, and yet you have survived and come out stronger. If you're like me, you are going to experience an ecstatic feeling that you're gonna wanna do again and again. You're gonna feel, if you're like me, the energy of a superhero. And that's why I go back in every day, because when I get worried, when I get anxious, when I get depressed, I put myself in the ice bath and I come out in a different mood than I went in every single time. I want to introduce one more guy, and we didn't warn him that we were going to ask him to speak.
No, what a great surprise. What an awesome treat for us to have Mr. Dean Hall here.
Dean swam the entire length of the Willamette River, and I wanted to ask Dean, or invite you to tell a little bit of your story, because I find it inspiring.
Okay, I had leukemia and lymphoma in 2013. I was dying. Right now I'm a real fat 224. I was down to 158 pounds. Biggest thing on me were my lymph nodes. I really I just lost my first wife to brain cancer, and I was 15 days for our 30th anniversary. And so I was just really in a terrible state of grief, and the cancer was just taking advantage of that. I knew that purpose, if you become passionate about something, it can bring you back to life. And my daughter was 21 at the time. She just lost her mom. I knew I had to find some way to live and get excited about life again. And so I decided to become the first person to swim the entire length of the Columbia River, just for fun. And so in 2014, for 22 days, I swam in 40-degree water, usually about 10 to 12 miles a day. The hardest part, and I'd never heard of Wim Hof. I'd never heard of the power of cold water immersion. And the hardest part of that journey was being hypothermic, 8 to 10 hours a day. First blood test I took was about 3 months after. I knew I was feeling really good, but I thought it was just because I'd kind of come back to life. The leukemia that I had was gone, and I never did chemo or radiation. And so it made me a big fan. When I found Tom's group, I told them that I'd be glad to be their poster boy, even though I wasn't any Brad Pitt. I thought they'd just think, this guy's old, forget him. But they were really gracious, and so they sent me out a Forge. I can promise you it has been one of the best lifestyle changes I've ever made. Having that cold water, I keep mine right around 40 degrees there in my garage, and especially during quarantine, I started calling it poor man shock therapy, because if I ever got too pinned in because they closed all the pools, and I didn't know what to do, and so I'd get in the Forge and stay at least for 3 to 5 minutes, and I'd be fine. I'm also a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I found it's one of the best treatments for anxiety or depression. And I'm becoming more and more a believer that so much of what these guys are teaching us about inflammation being the root of not only physical disease but emotional processes as well is really very quantifiable, certifiable, because especially since I got better, it wasn't a placebo effect because I didn't even know about it. And so I want to spend the rest of my life going around the world swimming these big rivers. This is my daughter Bree. She led me. We went over to the River Shannon, Ireland's longest river, and we did that in 2017. It took us 25 days, and we raised a bunch of money for the Childhood Cancer Foundation of Ireland. But if you have fun today, make a lifestyle of it. I do it first thing every morning instead of drinking coffee, and I'm turning 61 this Wednesday, and I'm fitter than I've just about ever been, and I can swim about 10 miles a day or more. No, what I'm meaning is if an old dork like me can gain benefits, you can too, and probably much more. So glad for joining us, and thank you both for having the first annual FreezeFest.
That's awesome. What a great surprise. And what he says, I can resonate with that totally. I got this Forge with the idea of taking away inflammation for musculoskeletal discomfort and pain. And what really was a surprise for me that I can definitely resonate with the anxiety and depression portion is that maybe 1/3 of the people that recurrently come back to that who have suffered from anxiety and depression are like, hey, it's markedly better. To some extent that they're like, it's gone. I don't even have that stuff anymore. As I've been continually using this Forge and doing these therapies, and even able to step themselves, even when they're not in the cold, being able to step in and be like, you know what? Going through the cryotherapy and the stressful response and learning how to use that stress control actually helped me in X, Y, or Z situation out in my own personal life. So an amazing thing. And now we're about to go experience it out in the wild, right? This is like nature's cryo. So what we're gonna do first is I'd like to do a little bit of a breath work initially, because as you hit the water, what happens is first you have this vasospastic response. All the vessels are gonna squeeze and drive your warmth to your core, because your body's like, uh-oh, We don't need toes, but we do need a heart and a liver, so we're gonna keep those warm. So when it does that, it's pulling away oxygen off the tissues, and so we want to hyperventilate, hyperoxygenate ourselves, which also desensitizes the skin a little bit. So as you go into the water, it's a little more tolerable, a little bit less shocking. Once you hit the water, you'll go through 3 phases. First, your sympathetics, fight or flight, are going to spike very high, and you'll get that the gasp response. You'll kind of go through this like, oh my God, what am I doing? And as Thomas said, every part is going to be telling you that you're dying. But in reality, you're actually not. So there's a very cool separation of your mind, your thoughts, and you. Your mind and thoughts race, but you don't have to believe every thought that you think. You're a powerful individual person capable of making rational reactions and responses, as opposed to just immediately going with a pre-programmed reaction. So today, everybody, when you're getting prepped up, we'll do some of this breath work. It's a deep, deep belly breath. We're gonna do about 30 of them, and it's a deep cyclical breath that you'll inhale, and then you just relax and kind of let it exhale. You don't have to force it out, you just allow your rib cage to compress and allow the air to come out. And we're gonna go in and out, until you start to feel slightly lightheaded, and then we're going to make a charge for the river and have some time in the cold.
A charge.
Now, don't feel bad. There's no set length of time. If you want to get out for 10 seconds, fabulous. If you want to be out there for 10 minutes, okay. So it doesn't matter. It's follow your body. This is a never forced situation. You go into it and you allow your body to relax. It's a letting go exercise. Because you love your body, because you want that therapy and your body to recover, squeeze the inflammation out of those areas that don't need it, let your body be able to activate and do the healing processes it's capable of doing. That's why you're exposing yourself to a couple minutes of discomfort to get the actual benefits. So everybody ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you gonna yell out the time for us so we?
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
We can have a
I
timer.
can do this without a timer.
Yeah, we can have a timer.
Yeah, we'll time it.
One of our rules is
Denny's gonna help time it.
Thanks so much, guys, for watching some of the stories and the emotional experiences that we had at FreezeFest. Such an awesome time. We love the community that's starting to build here rapidly in the Columbia Gorge area. All of you Wim Hofers out there going and loving the cold. So thank you guys very much for watching the videos, and we'll see you next time.